Let's get into it. This is the Chris Randle Show where we break down athletic development, mindset, and preparation through the lens of sports and life. If you are a parent, a coach, or an athlete looking for growth, this is the space for you. We talk about real stories, we give real support, and offer real tools. And with that, let's get into it. I want to offer you guys a great resource that I created for you. A lot of hard work went into this. Take a listen. Stop guessing your way through training. I've already figured out your plan for athletic development. I have over 20 years of experience in this game, playing, learning, and coaching. And that's why I created the off-season Slide Edge training guide and the online community where all my drills and resources live. This is built to help athletes of all ages and sports sharpen their speed and agility skills, prepare with confidence, and to recover smarter. If you're looking to have your athlete be the most resilient, highest performing, best version of themselves, join the community today. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. That is a great resource and tool for you guys, whether you're in season, off season, no matter what sport. Now we'll get into what we're discussing for today. We'll start off with our RIP segment, which is our review, our insight, our performance and perspective on current players today. We have Shador Sanders that we're going to be talking about, and we'll also discuss Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey, the incident that happened just a week ago. Then we get into our question of the day. What do you do when your speed plateaus? Okay. You're not seeing much improvement. How do I get out of this rut? So we'll answer that question for you guys. We also have our technique moment. What are some great tips for catching the ball? This is a huge aspect and component of the game, whether you're offense or defense, skill or big guys. Big guys, you never know when the opportunity may come to get that pick, right? On a screen for D linemen, offensive linemen, there is some guys that have had huge impacts on games because of their ability to catch the ball. They seem unassuming, but yet they have very good catching skills. So we'll give you some tips and techniques on how to catch the ball. Then we'll get into our mental note of the day, our subconscious mind versus our conscious mind, right? We want to differentiate the two and make sure they're aligned to serve you best. And then we will finish with a real estate market update. So getting into our RIP segment, talking about Shador Sanders. And it is perfect timing for our guy. I am a believer. So that's why I say our guy. I think this dude has proven himself just in his first start with the against the Oakland Raiders. He threw for over 200 yards, had a touchdown, and got the dub. So I am a Raider fan. It would be fitting that they beat my team, and he does it in his way. Wait, the way he answered in the interviews was his style. The way he played, the charisma he played with, all fits the personality of Shador Sanders. That kind of is a two-edged sword there. Some people believe he should be more humble, more modest, play more like a rookie, speak more like a rookie. But I'm on the side of you being you and you being the most comfortable version of yourself. And I feel like he represented that himself well. And I don't think he's disrespecting the organization in any way or putting his teammates down. So to say someone should talk a certain way because of who they are is opinion of other people. I feel like if you're doing your job and you have well intentions, then that should be enough. And his story doesn't just start at this game in his first start, right? He was supposed to be a first round pick. Not only that, a top 10 pick at one point. But the way the cookie crumbled, the first round of the NFL draft came and went, the second round came and went, and he got picked up in the fifth round. He even said it. There was the whole NFL passed up on him 5 different times. So he has that humble effect to him because he's been humbled. And for him to come out and perform the way that he did, I think anybody who's been in his corner was happy to see that happen for him. So that is a underdog type story. And Shador has put in the work, right? His collegiate career was outstanding. He is actually in the ring of Hall of Fame for his college. He turned that program around in Colorado. He made a Heisman winning wide receiver flourish in that system that he played in. So he has done significant amount of successful things in his career. So This is just in line with what he's done already. Super happy and excited for him. Whether you're at a high or you're at a low, stay true to self, right? I think that is a great lesson to learn. You got to find who you are as a person, what you bring to the table, and the value you possess in order for you to be the best version of yourself out there. And shout out to Shador. I know this second week, this past week with against the 49ers wasn't ideal, but honestly, his performance wasn't as bad as the game results were. They did not win, but he had an efficient game. He threw for 60% completion percentage and he did not throw any interceptions. He did have 3 sacks. And when you come from the defensive back perspective, one thing I would critique him on is that he holds the ball for a little bit too long. He loves to create plays, which could be good and bad, right? You can be able to create those plays against certain defenses and it work out against the Raiders. Against the 49ers, you're going to get 3 sacks and those sacks cost you a little bit more than we would like. So I think he holds on to the ball a little bit too long right now and his decision making isn't as quick as it can be, but he's completing 60% of his passes. So he's doing something right. There's always that learning curve as a rookie. So I'm excited to see him still flourish. I think his potential has been shown as far as what he can do and where he can potentially go. So keep it up with Shador and learn from those lessons, right? Continue to be yourself through all circumstances. Now we're talking about Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. If you haven't heard about this incident, it started not just a week ago. It started back in week 4 when Jamar Chase went for 160 yards receiving and a touchdown against the Steelers. And a lot of those catches was against Jalen Ramsey, who was an all-pro corner just a couple years ago, has that in his history. He's still a perennial defender in the NFL. And coming from a defensive back perspective, that game sits with you to the next time you play them. And during this whole time, you're replaying the things you would like to have done differently. And in this game, Jalen Ramsey wasn't giving Jamar Chase any breathing room when it comes to the extra pushes, when it comes to being aggressive, when it comes to talking trash, when it comes to trying to play that mental game. And it actually worked. Jamar Chase had 3 catches for 30 yards. And not only that, Jalen Ramsey got Jamar Chase so frustrated that Jamar Chase did one of the most disrespectful acts I believe you can do, and he spit on Jalen Ramsey in the game. And he tried to claim after the game that he didn't spit on him, but in this day and age, there's video footage, and it's clear cut that he spit at Jalen Ramsey. So for that act and not being able to control his emotions in that moment, Jamar Chase was suspended an entire game. So it cost him himself and it cost the team for his actions. And he just signed a major contract. So for him missing a game, that was over $500,000 in fines. So he got fined $500,000 and suspended, and his team missed him. So this case in point, trash talking. Let's talk about it a little bit. If you're good at it, if you know how to be a good teaser, my youngest son is 3. He teases my oldest son. He's just good at it. He just knows how to get under his skin. That could be a brother thing, but you also got to be able to take it and you also got to be able to be in control and use it as a tactic, right? If you are Jalen Ramsey, you're trash talking and now you're in an emotional state and you're getting angry and frustrated. That might not be your best tactic to use against someone who's perennial like Jamar Chase. But if you know you can back it up, if you feel confident in yourself, if you feel like it's not affecting your game, then play that second layer of the game, which is the mental battle. And if you're Jamar Chase, the intentions of the person against you is solely to get you frustrated, let's not buy into that. That's very easy to say, but I was the type of player that did all talking with my pats. I did all my talking by my actions. So that's what I would resort to at the end of the day. You already shown you can beat this guy. Let's not lose our composure and play this other game that will not necessarily best suit you in the long run. So stay composed out there, athletes. Understand that there's multiple levels to the game, whether it's just competing one on one or the underlying mental battle that you're facing out there. Always try to keep yourself in a line to who you are truly and what you're trying to get done out there. Now we have our question of the day. Every athlete hits a point where their progress stalls. And what do you do when that happens. And that is something we don't want to come to. We want to always see this progression towards positive growth in the direction we want to go. Sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes you catch yourself in a rut. And what I want to do here is give you some tips if you find yourself not necessarily enhancing your abilities like you once were doing and you want to change that. So, the first thing you probably should look at is varying your training routine, just switching it up a little bit. If you do sprints, now just add some resistance sprints to it, add a sled, add some bands, add a hill for progression, add a swimming pool, right? That resistance add another variable to your training. So I would add that first. Second, adjust your volume and intensity. Your volume and intensity during each rep should be a little bit different. Sometimes you do short burst with a long recovery, or sometimes you do a long burst with a short recovery. Change the volume and the intensity of each drill so you can then start seeing your body adapt differently to different exercises. On top of that, prioritize your recovery. And let me repeat that one more time. Prioritize your recovery means sleeping well, eating well with nutrition, having proper rest days. Those are just as important as the grind, right? You want to know why you're not performing? Maybe because your body is fatigued, right? You can't reach your max potential if your body isn't filling up to par. So, extra lifts doesn't do the trick. Trying not to sleep because you want to get more done doesn't do the trick. Proper rest and recovery will go a long way towards your development and for your growth if you have that speed plateau. Another thing is track your progress. I know there's stopwatches and there's times out there that allow you to see where you are and how you're progressing. That's one way and how you can do it. Another way would be to video yourself. If you're video recording yourself, you can see the steps that you're taking and seeing if they're intentional or if you're lagging or if you're improving. You use that video footage to help you improve your game. That's one tool I use with in my program that will allow us to see and check your progress and see how we can help you improve. So, video footage and tracking your time is a great way to see where you are and how to enhance. And last but not least, you need a mental reset, right? If you've been going hard for about 4 to 6 weeks, it's okay to relax and mentally lock in on what it is that you're trying to improve on. So if your clock is saying you're not improving your time, that doesn't mean you're not good. If you're saying out loud to yourself that I'm slow or that I won't get fast, then that's exactly what would happen. But if you tell yourself, okay, maybe I need to recover. Maybe I need to check my routine. Maybe I need to see the intensity and the volume of this and use these times that I'm now getting as feedback to do things a little bit differently. So have that mental reset to say, all right, let me adjust a little bit so I can now see some more growth. Don't look at it as like I can't improve, I won't ever get faster, because then you won't, right? What you tell yourself really matters. Now, going into our technique moment of the day. I just want to give you guys some tips for catching. I was a guy, fun fact, okay? I did not play a season without getting an interception, okay? If you're out there, go ahead and look that up. See if that holds true, right? Didn't play a season without getting an interception, and that comes with being prepared to catch the interception. Catching the ball is a pivotal aspect of the game. It's how you progress the ball other than running it, right? So that if you're looking for tips on how to become a very good catcher, the first thing would be your hand positioning, right? I think if you are in this sport and you are teaching, coaching athletes to catch the ball, the diamond theory is a typical one, and then pinky to pinky is a typical one. So if the ball is thrown above your waist, you're going to put your hands in the shape of a diamond, not literally touching your index fingers to index finger or thumb to thumb. This is too narrow for a ball to fit, right? So have a little space and understand that grip that you must have in that diamond shape, which is very important in the detail information when you're telling your athlete. And also, if the ball is thrown below your waist, you want to have your pinkies in a general direction of each other. If they're touching, again, that surface is a little bit too small. So make sure they're able to embrace the ball and grip it as it comes. When it's below the waist, your pinkies are generally in the same direction. So that is the way your hand positioning should be. I also teach them the range of motion that they have, right? Because some of the athletes put their diamonds and it's right by their chest. But if you extend your arms out, you want to meet the ball. If you extend your arms back forward, you can understand how you have that range, as well as going above your head. Extend your hand above your head with the diamond, expand it to the right side, to the left, all around. So when you're teaching hand positioning, also teach how the arms move as well. If you're talking about the next thing that will help you, it would be your eyes on the ball. Every football out there, most of it, let me take that back. Most footballs out there has an indicator that'll allow you to see the ball come into your hand. It's that white stripe that's on the football. And I like to tell my athletes, you see that ball all the way through your hands. If you're holding the ball right in front of your face, the only thing you should be seeing is that white line. And if you can't pay attention to the white line, every football, even the ones in the NFL that don't have the white stripe, they have that X at the tip of the ball, right? It makes an X on the ball. I tell them to look for that X and lock your eyes on that X. So that's good eye tracking and where your eyes should be. Your body alignment, you should be square in most cases, right? If you're running down the field for a vertical threat ball, your shoulders may be squared towards the direction you're running. Your hand can still be in good placements to find that ball. If you're coming back to the ball, you want your shoulders to be square so you can have a wider surface to track that ball as well. So if you turn your body halfway, it kind of limits the angles in which you can catch. If you're going square, you can adjust to where the ball is thrown a little bit better. So keeping your body square and being able to also have soft hands. What does that mean? That means being able to absorb the ball on contact more so than having it be stiff and it just hits like off your hands and bounces back down, right? You don't want stiff palms. You want to be able to absorb the ball's impact and make sure you put it high and tight once you catch it. And this is a huge tip here is being able to catch the ball through contact. So, what does that mean? That means being able to be prepared mentally based on your route concept and what you're seeing out there, but also let's have 3 barriers of contact before someone even hits you. What does that mean? So if they're throwing you the ball, the quarterback is throwing you the ball, you're going to keep your arms extended and get the ball away from your chest. That's one barrier. The second barrier is in between the ball and your chest. If you're catching it away from your chest, that is the space that you need in order to secure that ball. The third thing would be your chest itself. That will be away from the defender. So if the defender tries to get the ball, you have to go through your body, go through that space, then get to the ball in order to disrupt it. So make sure you give yourself those 3 points in order to catch that ball through contact. And then practice variety, right? When you're out there and you're trying to enhance your catching, you got to catch it in a different amount of ways. You got to be able to high point it. You got to be able to low point it. You got to be able to go to the side. You got to be able to deep catch it. So you need to practice some variety, right? These are contested catches. You have someone acting like they're knocking your hand down. You need to be able to understand your feet placement when you're catching the ball. So using that sideline, little tightrope, a little toe tap action. You also want to do over the shoulder catches. You also want to cover it above, catch it above your head, catch it below your waist. A variety of catches is going to help you in the long run. And just some examples of how many catches you should be doing. Let's go for about 100 to 150 a day. If you do that for 4 or 5 days out of the week, those are about 20 to 30-minute sessions. That's about 500 to 700 catches in a week. That's a good amount of catches. If you're doing that weekly, I can guarantee that you're going to become a better catcher. So being able to throw the ball by yourself, right? Lay down on your back, throw that ball up, throw it over your shoulder, use tennis balls to help you with your hand eye coordination. These are all things that will help you become a better catcher. Now, for our mental note of the day, we're talking about the subconscious mind versus the conscious mind. These are two different entities within yourself. So, the subconscious mind is more so what we're telling ourselves to believe, and our conscious mind what we're acting on. So if we tell ourselves we're going to do something, but then we feel resistance and don't know why we fail, that is the subconscious mind at work. The first step to discard beliefs that don't serve you is ask yourself, do I believe I can? or do I believe I can't? What do I truly believe about myself? This will help you decide on if it's a subconscious problem or it's a conscious problem. Ultimately, the mastery comes from when the subconscious matches the conscious mind. So, what you believe, the actions follow. So, your actions must match your belief system. Protect yourself by being aware of what you're feeling in your subconscious, right? Feedback that comes to you must be filtered out with positive thoughts because your mind mastery does equal your life mastery. That is something that you want to have in a line. If you tell yourself or someone is telling you negative feedback, you can choose to have that help all your traumas or your past experience. They could dampen your belief. And that's not to say that we're perfect and that should never happen. In most cases, we might have some trauma. We might have some past experiences that gave us our limiting beliefs. So we have to go through that. We have to figure out what caused that, how it happened, and then we can figure out that so we can then put ourselves in a better position to help ourselves grow. We want to discard all things that do not serve us, especially if those limiting beliefs, those negative thoughts, and the idea that you can't do something those things already are in your subconscious will not allow you to have the actions in order to do the things that you truly want to do. So, how do you deal with doubt will determine whether you occasionally accomplish your dreams or you're out there doing it to fulfill it on a consistent basis. So, even if you're down in the fourth quarter and some of your teammates may think, oh, we have no shot. There's no way we're going to beat this then why are you saying things that won't serve you, right? You train your mind to work for you instead of going against you. So in that case, be the guy that's going to be like, okay, we got this. Let's go have the greatest comeback in history. Let's go out there and take this one play at a time. Let's keep fighting. Let's go hard. Those are the thoughts that are going to serve you more so than the opposite. So find ways to help your brain work and train for you instead of going against you. And that is your subconscious. And once you do that, your body and your conscious mind will follow. So one way you can help yourself with this situation is speaking life into yourself every day. You know, life is hard, days are hard. Find three things positive that you've done that day that you can tell yourself. And as you add up three successes, six successes, 9, 12, 15. In 5 days, you had done 15 things very successful. In 7 days, you've done 21, right? So, in a matter of 7 days, you're doing things that are very successful, so remind yourself of that. Because otherwise, the negative thoughts will take over all those positive things that you've done, and you won't acknowledge them, and it won't help you get out of that state of mind, which will limit you into believing what you can and can't do. So, that's one tactic you can do. Another tactic is ask yourself what you can do today to get better. Therefore, you can start getting some reps towards what it is you want to do, which would increase your faith and your belief in what you're trying to accomplish. And if you got some negative feedback, ask yourself, what would I do in that situation if it happened again? You don't have to replay the negative feedback like coach don't like me or he told me mean things or he doesn't help me or those things you can filter. Ask yourself, what is he trying to say? And then say, in that situation again, how would I do it differently? If you want the same results, do it the same way. If not, maybe I could do it a little bit different, be a little bit more open minded. So, those are two tools that you can use that allow yourself to trigger your subconscious to work in your favor. Now, for our real estate market update, I want to just go over this past year on what it was meant to be and how it actually worked out. Okay. So we're talking about interest rates. And leading up to this year, rates at the beginning were closer to 7%. Right. So we were thinking by the end of the year, we should be closer to 6%, a little bit under. There were points where we were, and there's points where we kind of rose back up. So not in a consistent way, but we did see the projections actually go in favor with some Fed fund cuts and the economy kind of doing steady well, even though we got tariffs that threw in a wrench into the ecosystem. We still got wars going on, right? So even given all those things, we did have rates actually what we thought they were going to do. And we talk about inventory. What did we think inventory was going to do? Like over these past few years, inventory has not risen to the proper amount for a healthy economy for buyers and sellers. It's been low inventory, which better serves the sellers because there's less homes to choose from, making your home stand out a little bit more. This year, we saw more inventory come to the market. Not necessarily all new. Some inventory numbers are based on if the property is staying there for a little bit longer than it should be. But all in all, we did see an increase in inventory, which did help sales tick up this year just because there was more variance. We did have more pending sales increase this year as well. That was based, I feel like, on affordability when interest rates dropped a bit and then you have more properties available who sellers are now open to negotiation for incentives. It makes it more affordable for buyers to get out there and transact. So that's why we saw more transactions. If we're talking about home prices, we also saw another increase and another positive years. It has been consistently positive years since '08. Every year has been a positive appreciation. If we're looking at 2020, 21, 22, those years we got double digits appreciations. Right now we got a moderately 4 or 5% appreciation. That's on par to the historic norms. So we saw positive appreciation in home prices. We saw inventory growth a little bit. We saw more sales happen, and we also saw interest rate drop. So overall, this year was better than the past 3 years by far. It's not even question. So if you guys are in the market, I would say things are trending in a proper way, which allows more things to be favorable for those who are buying and selling. Typically, if you're selling a property, you're buying one. So it helps you in the same fashion to get those incentives, get those deals, and also get those sales happening. So that's kind of where we are with the real estate market. I am always here to answer questions for you, and we'll be giving you our forecast here in the next few weeks. And if you guys have any questions, always reach out. That is what we have for episode 8, you guys. I want to say thank you again. If you guys need that resource, make sure you're tuning in to me on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. You can DM me. You can message me. I also have our community where we're going to have more, private conversations, more thing about mental aspect of the game, which I feel like is the underlying to a lot of this training. You can go to YouTube and find drills, right? You can go to Instagram and find random drills, but are you going to have the person teaching you them, telling you the story, and also helping you guys getting through these mental hurdles that honestly a lot of people can do the drills? That's not necessarily the hardest part once you learn them. It's more so handling adversity, how the coaches talk to you, how you are with your teammates, how do you handle defeat, what do you should do when you're doing very well and successful, right? These mental cues, I believe, are the turning point and game changers to the whole program. I have those readily available for you guys and super accessible for all those who are part of the community. Again, if this serves you and it may help someone you may know, like and subscribe and share this with a friend. This will go a long way in building the community. I am super grateful for you guys and look forward to keep building. Like we always say, let's continue to strive to build something bigger than ourselves. Talk to you guys soon.